Hello guys, welcome back. Hope we're all doing well. This is Chetan here from WORKBOOK and welcome back to a brand new video. Now this video is not going to be more of a tutorial, but it's going to be more of a new video where I'm going to teach you guys, I'm going to be showing you guys a new software that I came across a couple of months back, but I never got a chance to use it. But now since I've been playing it for over a month, and I think it's an insane software. It's really powerful, the features, options, it's crazy, and I'm so excited to be showing you guys this video. So it's going to be more of an introduction video to the software, and also I'm going to be showing you guys how to create this cool, a nice simple sword icon using this software. And so I suggest you guys, just sit back and just watch the entire video. So let's get started. So this software is called Affinity Designer. The main brand is called Affinity and it's by a company called Serif Europe Limited. It has two products, Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer right now. And let me just show you their website. So here I am on their website, and as you can see here, they have this cool, amazing website. Let's start off over here from the top. They have Affinity Photo. They have Affinity Designer. And they also have a designer workbook to, which you can use to learn the software. And Affinity is coming to iPad real soon, so that's pretty cool. It's basically a photo editing app. We'll be talking more about that pretty soon. And then we have the Apple Design Award, which is one award, by Apple for the best app in 2015, and it's done a really good job. Now, from 2015, this video, which I'm actually recording, is in 2017, of course. But they have completely revamped the software from version 1, and now they're currently running version 1.5, and it's an insane software with a lot of features. So what is basically Affinity Designer? It's basically an application which I would say is similar to Illustrator and Photoshop put together in one package. Now let's see more about the software. So if I click on Affinity Designer over here, it's going to take me up to a new page. Now as you can see, the first thing that you see is the price. Now Affinity Designer costs, since I am in India, it's showing up in rupees. It's just 4,000 rupees, and if you convert it into US dollars or euro pounds, it's going to hit you up to 50 bucks. And I think 50 bucks is extremely cheap for a crazy software which provides you a lot of benefit, a lot of value, and it also has no subscription. It's a lifetime subscription, and also it has free updates whenever it comes up with an update. Now it's available for Mac and Windows, which is the best part again. Let's scroll down and see. So it's basically, there's a video which I think talks about what Affinity Designer is, and I really suggest you go pause the video, check that out, and it's gonna be insane. So as you can see, it says imagined by designers, created for professionals with a fast moving vector graphic design software used for, you can use all sorts of stuff, mockups, user interface, banners, headers, posters, web designing, whatever it is. And as you can see, version 5 is now available, and it has a lot of these softwares. And as you can see, there's also reason here are 15 reasons why. With the addition of features such as symbols and constraints, Affinity Designer is now a perfect tool for the UI and UX designers. As you can see a little bit of the user interface on how it looks. To be honest, I like it better than Photoshop. I think this user interface is much better. And look at the vector graphics that's being done. And it's basically all the workflow, a lot of information. Sorry about that. And you can use brushes, and there are shapes and type and the text tool, which is probably most my favorite for printing. With support with CMYK and ICC color management, which are very important when you're using designs for printing process. Exporting is extremely easy, and and the workflow between Affinity Designer and the Affinity Photo, which is pretty cool as well. A lot of options. I suggest you guys check out the this website and the videos. So you can see we have symbols, and let's move forward. We have the user interface where they're creating an app, if I'm not wrong. And you see all of these options, which is the pen tool, brush tool, shapes, symbols, the asset panel. Then we have the real-time embedded documenting. And before I forget, this can open up PSD files, it can open up SVG files, PNG files, it can open literally almost every type of file. Anyways, moving forward, we have the text. You can align it on a path, make all sorts of logos. And this is the best part. As you can see here, we have the split screen where you can see the before and the after, which is definitely not available in Photoshop if I'm not wrong, guys. I've used Photoshop for a long time and I pretty much don't know about it, but I don't think it's there, but this gives you that feature. Moving forward, we have the corner tool. So for those of you who kept on complaining in Illustrator CS6 that you wanted the corner tool and the round tool, there you go. You have the corner tool and the round tool to round your shapes and logos perfectly. You have the instant undo history. You have the option to choose how many times you want to set the maximum undos. I think 7,000 is the maximum amount of undos, and I think Photoshop limits it up to 1,000. So that's a very big importance. Then we have vector brushes, you know, for creating vector graphics. Not too sure much about that. And also an abundant amount of shortcuts that you can use for this. So you can see a lot of shortcuts over here. Let's move forward. What else? So we come back basically over here to symbols, and as you can see, all of these designs were created in Affinity Designer, and these look insane. These look so cool. And Affinity Designer, once again, obviously you can download a free trial if you guys want it. View a full feature list and view the system requirements, so you guys can check that out. They're also available on Twitter, Facebook, if you guys want to follow them and keep updated. So now what we'll do is we're going to jump into the software. Alright guys, so here I am in Affinity Designer, and just have a look at the interface. It looks great. It looks very appealing. It looks amazing. So this is what's going to pop up when you start off a new document. So we have a lot of options over here, which is I think is really good because we can edit everything and we don't have to, you know, probably go back into file and choose edit and make all kind of changes. So let's choose the type. We're going to set to web. The preset, a hell lot of presets. So 1920 by 1080 is what I'm going to choose. You can also choose your own dimensions. DPI, we have a lot of options, and the actual size zoom. I'm not sure what this is, but I haven't checked that out. Color format, color profile, document pixels, and this has a cool addition called include margins. So let me just actually put that up to 20 on the left and the right side to just show you how it looks. So I'm going to put 20 on both sides. 20, whoops, sorry about that, 20 and 20, and let's go ahead and click on OK, and it's going to open up a new document, and there you go. You can see these lines that we have over here, which is basically the margins, which I don't think is there in Photoshop or Illustrator. Now how this software works is a little different. Now there are something called as personas. It's basically a set of tools put together, which is like Illustrator, and you have another group which is like Photoshop. I really don't know how to explain, but I'm going to show you guys. As you can see over here, if I come over here, it says something called as the drop persona, and if I come over here, it says the pixel persona, and if I come over here, it says export persona. Right, so what are these personas? So when you come to drop persona, just in layman terms, it means it's Illustrator. So all your vector graphic designs, anything related to vector designing falls over here. Now if I click here on the pixel persona, I get a new set of tools, and imagine this to be Photoshop. It's simple, guys. You have Photoshop here and you have Illustrator here, and the export persona is basically to export it. It's going to change your viewport according to the personas. And the best part about export persona is with the latest update which came out in Illustrator to export multiple objects by just clicking once, it's going to export a ton of things at the same time rather than exporting each single object. That option is available here in the export persona. Before we get on with the video, let me know what kind of videos you want from me, whether you guys want me to talk about the tools, single tools, or you guys want me to start creating something. Okay, now as you can see over here, we have a bunch of tools over here on the left hand side. Which is basically simple like Illustrator. If you guys use Illustrator, you'll probably know. We have the corner tool, pen tool, pencil, brush tool, gradient tool, transparency tool is something which is pretty cool, which I have used and I really like it. The shape tools, text tools, magnifying tool, and the move tool. And on the right hand side, we have the color, swatches, stroke, brushes, effect. Then we have the history, navigator, all the similar stuff which you find in Illustrator and Photoshop. Layers work a little different. Effects is basically your layer styles and the blending options in Photoshop. We have styles, which has your pre-built layer styles. You can obviously get more, okay. And then we have the text styles is, I'm not quite sure what this is. Anyways, so let me just start showing you guys, how to create the sword logo. So I'm going to start off with, so basically you don't have to create any new layers over here. It automatically adds a new layer, but in case you want to add a new layer for a certain purpose, you will have to add a layer, which is quite difficult to understand what I'm trying to say. But anyways, I'll show you guys. So I'm going to start off by creating a nice background. So I'm going to get the rectangle tool and I'm going to come over here. And as you can see, we have these snapping, which is turned on. Now, snapping is very cool in this. So there's just one button you click on here, which is snapping and unsnapping. We have move by whole pixels and we have no move by whole pixels. And this is the force pixel alignment. As you can see, you can also choose the tolerance, enable snapping, snap to grid, snap to guides, a lot of these stuff. So if I choose view and choose view grid, it's going to throw up my grid, and I can just get rid of that by going to show grid. There we go. So I'm going to create a new background. So I'm going to go and just click over here and just come over here and click a new background. And as you can see, it creates a new layer automatically. And I'm just going to rename this BG, and we're going to choose a color. So the color, the way it's shown here, is pretty different. We have a triangle with a color wheel. So basically, these are basically your triads and your complementary colors for better color picking schemes when you guys are trying to choose the right colors for a design. I'm gonna go ahead and set this to almost like a black color, so something like that. I don't want it to be a gray color, so something like, or you can actually double click on this and it's gonna throw up the dialog box. And you can also choose a lot of different types of viewing these colors. So we have the RGB slider, HSL sliders, the CMYK sliders, the color wheel, and however it is, hue, brightness, and saturation, which I don't think is there in Photoshop or Illustrator at all. So it's pretty cool. And I'm gonna go for a almost dark background and just click away, close this up, and there we go. Now I'm gonna lock this layer by clicking on this lock and unlock button. So now I can't go ahead and make any changes to it. It's fixed. There you go. That's working cool. So let's start off. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with a new rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag a rectangle like so. There we go. We have rectangle. I'm going to set this to a white color so we can actually, like a gray color to see and differentiate it. There we go. And I'm going to move this over to the center. So how this works here is we just have these tools, which is align align horizontal and align vertical. And you can choose align to spread, margin, or the selection bounds. I think selection bounds is what we want, and cool, and just click on OK, and it's in the dead center. I'm going to make a point over here, so I'm going to click on the pen tool, and I'm going to come over here, and just as you can see, if I come over to the center, it's going to automatically give me a guide, because this has like inbuilt smart guides. You guys know what smart guides is. It's there in Photoshop and Illustrator. Smart guides, this has like inbuilt smart guides. I'm just going to click over here. It's going to create me a point, and I'm going to use the move tool, and I'm going to select this point. How do we select the points? Yeah, we want the node tool, which is A, which is the direct selection tool in Illustrator. We want to rasterize it and make it editable. So if you guys have used Illustrator, there's an option which says expand and expand appearance, and the similar thing to that here is convert to curves. Now that becomes editable. Now as you can see, we have 2 points over here, and I'm going to create a new point now actually. So with the pen tool, I'm going to come over here and just click. So we have create a new point. I'm going to click on the node tool, and I'm going to select this point right over here, and I'm going to go ahead and just move it over to the right hand side. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and choose a hexagon tool. Now as you can see here, if I come over to the tier tool, we can see a lot of these options, which are a hell lot of options. The cloud tool, cog tool, crescent, pie tool. Wow, that's a lot. I'm going to go ahead and just choose the polygon tool, and I can set the number of sides. So since I want a hexagon, I'm going to choose 6 sides, and you can also choose the curvature. So I'm going to just hold down shift, and that's going to give me up this nice hexagon over here. And if I move this up or down, as you can see, we're going to get this nice effect, which is not there. I'm not sure if it's there in the other version. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and just rotate this. So just select it, and it will come over to the corner. It automatically gives you the rotate tool, and hold down shift. So we get something like this. This is what I'm actually looking for, right? And I'm going to shrink it down again, hold down shift, and I'm going to change this to another color. So let's choose probably a random red color, and we want to align this again horizontally. So let's click on align and choose horizontal. Click on OK. I'm actually going to shrink this down a little bit more because I don't want it to be so big. Move this over to the side, and we can select it and choose align to middle. Click on OK. Now let's zoom in actually. So I'm just using my scroll key to zoom in, right? And I think the other version is to use option if you want to zoom in. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to convert this to curves and to make it an editable object. We can add anchor points. Now I'm going to choose the node tool, And I'm going to come over here and just click here once, and I'm going to click here once again, which is going to give me 2 nodes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this node and hold down shift and select this node. Just move this over to the right hand side to give me this nice effect, this nice shape. And I'm going to move this over to the side, so we have something that looks like this, which is let me just go ahead and create a new rectangle once again now. So I'm going to create a new rectangle, which is we're going to make this fairly small, like so. And we're going to go and choose align to the center, click on OK. Let's choose another color, just a random color, probably a blue color, I don't know, dark blue color. And we can close this, and I'm going to move this over to the back. Now we can select this and just drag it down like so, which moves it to the back. Let's create a new rectangle once again now, and we can go and choose align horizontal, click on OK, and choose convert to curves. I'm going to select the node tool and add in a point. But before I add a point, I'm going to add in rulers. So I'm going to press Ctrl 0 to fit my document to screen, and press Ctrl R to get the rulers. And once we have these rulers, we can select the move tool, and we can just pull in rulers like so, and it's going to snap it right here to the center. So now if I can zoom in, I'm going to select this, select my node tool, and just click over here, which is going to create a point. And now I can move this point the way I want. So I'm going to just move it up like so, and I can select all these points and just drag them over to the left, so I could get a nice holder for it. And I can hide the rulers by, I think, going to view and choose show rulers, press Ctrl R. I think that's going to get rid of that. But the guides, I think, is the Ctrl and the colon key. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new rectangle, like a big rectangle, and I'm going to fit it in the dead center of this. So basically every element is half of this. So I'm going to select all of this. So let's actually do this individual. I'm going to select these two, and I'm going to come over here to these options. Now these are like the Pathfinder tools in Illustrator, which help you to cut objects. Now this one is like unite, this is subtract, this is intersect, this is divide, and this is combine. I'm going to go ahead and just click on divide. Now when I press divide, it's going to cut up everything into individual elements. So I can select this, so it's split into a separate element. As you can see here, this is a separate element. Now I'm going to move this over right to the back over here, like so. There you go. I'm going to do the same thing to this, but so I'm going to move ahead and just move this over to this side. So this is completely covering. Select this, choose divide. So there we go, we have this piece. So I'm going to move this over somewhere over here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and select this curve and double click on the color, and I'm going to go ahead and choose a nice blue color, like a nice dark blue color. Now press I on your keyboard, which is going to get the eyedropper tool, but there's something a little bit different in the Affinity Designer. Now as you can see over here, there is this eyedropper tool and there is a button over here. Now if I click on this button, it's going to apply that color. But if I click on the eyedropper tool and just click on the eyedropper tool and drag it, you see we get this circle thing where I can actually zoom into anything, like literally anything, and pick a color. So I'm going to select the same color again, and to apply it to this layer, I'm going to select this layer and just click on this, which is going to apply. We're going to choose a dark gray color, like so. And for this one, I'm going to choose a light gray, maybe not so light, something like that, looking good. Let's do the same thing over here. So I'm going to press I and just click on this, which is going to apply that for me, and select this, press I, which is going to apply this for me. And I want to make sure that this thing is at the back. So let me just, yeah, it is at the back, so it's fine. And this one again, we're going to same color, and this the same color. Now let's move forward and learn about the gradients. So now there are two ways of adding gradients. We can use the tools over here, or we can add a layer style. So I'm going to select this and come over here to the styles, the effects, and we have Gaussian blur, which is a predetermined layer style, which I can obviously increase or decrease. It's like a smart filter in Photoshop. Then you have the default outer glow, inner glow, and all the stuff, 3D, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. I'm going to choose on gradient overlay, and I'm going to click on this tool, which is going to give me a pop-up window, or also I can just drag down and change the opacity directly over here. Let me just move this over to the side so we can actually see what's happening. Now I'm going to come over here and double click on this gradient, single click actually, and we're going to get this nice new interface for a gradient editor. I'm going to select the white one, click on the color, and I'm going to go here and choose on the RGB sliders, and what was that color slider? Yeah, there we go, the hex color slider. Paste that, click on enter, and that's going to give us that color. And also we can see you can have this option of adding the own noise to this, which is really cool. I'm going to add a little bit of noise. I think I really like it. And okay, just click it away, and we can reverse it if you want. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select this midpoint over here and just move this over to the almost the right side of this, so it's almost there, and it gives us this nice gradient effect, which is pretty cool. I really like it. And we can also reduce down the opacity of this, so I'm going to probably bring it down to like 65%, and we see we have this nice cool shadow effect. I'm going to just do the same thing for this. So that's pretty much it for the introduction into Affinity Designer and creating a simple sword icon in Affinity Designer. Please feel free to let me know what kind of tutorials you want, what you're expecting from me from the software, what kind of videos you want me to make. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys check out this software. It's a really valuable software, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So till then, take care and bye-bye.